I declare this meeting open at 8:49 a.m. Good morning, delegates, and welcome to our very first FSU National Congress. I'd like to thank Troy Fibrace for coming to RACV Goldfields and giving us that fabulous welcome and welcoming us to country. I'd like to acknowledge the lands that we stand on and meet today, the lands of the Dja Dja Wurrung peoples, and pay my respects to elders, past and present. I'd also like to urge you each to head to the call of First Nations people who want our movement supports for a voice to Parliament enshrined in the Constitution. Parliaments have made laws and failed policies for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples for centuries. Our voice enshrined in the Constitution will give them a direct line to Parliament to give advice on laws and policies that affect them. Previous laws have often entrenched discrimination and disadvantage, such as forcing First Nations people to work for free or below legal minimum wages for over 2 centuries. The minimum First Nations people deserve is that their voice be respected and listened to before laws and policies are made. And for these reasons, that I'm committed to supporting the Yes campaign in any referendum. Hence a t-shirt. All right, I'd like to start with credentialing. So in accordance with Rule 29, I note that the following 93 members, as listed on the screen, have been elected as Congress delegates. Congratulations, everyone. And they're all eligible to attend and vote in person at this Congress meeting. The list there. So I note that the following Congress delegates have sent their apologies for this meeting due to ill health or caring for their families. So they're listed there. All right, so could I please have a mover and a seconder for the following resolution, that the credentials of delegates being in order be accepted as listed? Yep, thank you. Just your name. Karina. A seconder? All right, all in favour? All against? All right, it's carried. So we have the following union staff, observers and guests that will be in attendance in part or for the entire Congress meeting. They're also listed on the screen. Next slide. I think there's more. I think there's one more slide. Fantastic. So could I please have a mover and seconder for the following resolution, that the observers and guests as listed be accepted? Thank you. Thanks, Adam. Seconder? Yeah, thank you. Tracy, thank you. So all in favour? All against? Carried. All right, so we just acknowledged we have many incredible guest speakers and presentations throughout our Congress meeting. I'd like authorization from the National Congress to record those guest speakers and presentations so we can share some of that presentation with our members. So can I please have a mover and a seconder for the following resolution, that National Congress authorizes the recording of presentations exclusively by the finance sector union support staff? Can I have a mover? Thanks, Steve. Oh, yeah. And Paul? That's all right. All right, all in favour? All against? All right, carried. I'd like to move to some housekeeping items. So the usual stuff, can you just pop your phones on silent, please, if you haven't already? And there is a FSU dedicated Wi-Fi network open for our event. The network name is Finance 2023 and the password's the same. If you need to leave urgently, just let your table facilitator know and Mel know. Just sitting seated over there. First aid and COVID safe event officer is Catherine O'Toole. If you start to experience any cold or flu symptoms, can you please return to your room and ask for a rapid antigen test, RAT test, to be brought to your room. If it's negative, you can return to Congress, but we just ask that you wear an N95 mask until your symptoms subside, please. I encourage members to connect with each other throughout the WhatsApp chat. I can see that you guys have been doing that last night. If you're not involved in the app, just reach out to any of your delegates on the table. Someone should know. And our National Congress sponsors will be available in the Hepburn Room today and tomorrow. So, please visit. Now that I have those formalities out of the way, I wanted to share a few thoughts with you. The last few years, we've seen a great many firsts, some good, some not so great. Unlike this Congress that we're about to embark on, we've experienced a pandemic. It's changed the way we work and function in the community. We now know terms such as work from home, COVID-19, vaccines, lockdown, isolation, social distancing. That doesn't really happen anymore. All terms are now forever embedded in our vocabulary. As a union, we had to quickly respond to this health emergency and be there more than ever for our members. As we navigated this new and tricky terrain and continue to put finance workers' health and wellbeing at the forefront of everything we did. We secured paid COVID vaccination leave for up to 4 hours. We pushed for access to PPE for all workers on the front line. And we put wellbeing at the forefront of everything we did, and that means we got us classified as essential workers. Despite this new landscape, our union continued to push and rally hard with wins in the EA negotiations, the abolishment of pay secrecy across many workplaces. And after a huge decade of tireless campaigning, 10 days of paid domestic and family violence leave became law for every worker. This law will save lives and be a safety net for over 11 million Aussie workers. That's fantastic. After constant branch closures, particularly in regional towns, which have affected many workers and the communities they serve, we haven't stopped campaigning for a proper inquiry into branch closures. For context, the last Senate inquiry was 20 years ago. Earlier this year, we secured a breakthrough with the Senate, finally announcing that a new inquiry into regional and rural branch closures is due to finish in December. Despite this inquiry, our union kept the pressure on, and last month we had another big win. Westpac announced it was reversing its decision to close 8 regional branches across Australia. So that's fantastic. Throughout the pandemic, and amongst all these long fought wins and constant campaigning to bring in reform, we started to look internally at our very own structure. And we asked ourselves, how can we as a union adapt and change for the better to give our members more of a voice and a say? How do we provide the best possible platform in these modern times and unprecedented times to those with a passion of finance workers' rights burning inside them? With all this in mind, we set upon a task to modernise and update our rules and the new structure to incorporate what we see today in this room. Industry, community and emerging groups, committees in conjunction with our enterprise groups that we all know. In a moment, I'll be handing over to John Payne, our returning officer, who will provide a report on those elections. I'm proud to have led the National Executive through our rule reform process. Previously, as members, we were siloed through our geography and enterprise. Today, we are one union. We represent every part of finance right across the country, and we are powerful when we are unified. At our last conference, we endorsed changes to our governance structure, including the transfer of our national president position to a full-time officer. Today, we take the first steps as our new union, and I'm delighted with what we have achieved during my time as president, and I have happily nominated to be a member of the National Executive. Outside our union, the 2022 election year saw sweeping changes to our political landscape. No matter where you're placed in the political arena, the Labor win is a step in the right direction for the working people compared to the leadership we have previously endured. State after state, we have seen the Liberals fall. These changes mean it is time for us to take our agenda and the issues closest to our hearts and launch campaigns to see them brought to attention on a political level. This is where we all come in. Comrades, these next few days, we need to come together to set our course of direction over the next 4 years. Let's reflect on what we have achieved momentarily, but now our real work also begins. Let us now decide what's important to us, where we'd like to be, and how we are going to get there. Let's focus our great collective minds and develop strategies to empower, unite, and transform our union for our industry, for our members, and for us. Thank you. I'd